لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Huda TV's continued Hajj coverage, live all day long on the day of Arafah. May Allah bless you all, and thank you for watching and staying tuned to Huda TV. Earlier today, you had Brother Osama. He was with you live from 9 o'clock. We're going to give Brother Osama a break, and I'm going to pick up where he left off, inshallah, until nighttime, inshallah. In this segment, we're joined by truly a special guest. You have seen him on Islamic Law Today. He is truly, in his own right, a modern Muslim scholar. We can't say enough about the works that he has authored in the Arabic language as well as English. And today, he has a very special project that we would like to announce and give the Muslim world the glad tidings of the completion of this project on the day of Arafah. And I'll let the doctor explain that. Of course, I'm talking about Dr. Muhammad Naim Sai. Assalamu alaikum, doctor.
Wa alaikum wa barakatuh. Ahlan wa sahlan, marhaban.
Thank you so much for joining us, doctor. I know you're a busy man, and I know that we haven't had you in a while, so we're very happy to have you back.
Jazakallah khair, Habib. It's my honor, inshallah, to be with you in this day, in this channel, inshallah, with all these great people of Qanat al-Huda. The Huda TV is very blessing, mashallah ta'ala.
Wallahi, Sheikh, we are honored to have you.
Jazakallah khair, Habib. Jazakallah khair. Always in my heart, wallahi. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen.
Doctor, you have a wonderful project that I want you to explain to the viewers and myself how long you have been working on this project for. What is the project, and why did you take on this project?
Somehow I was hesitating to bring it to this program this day, but somehow I felt that which channel is more to be deserved, to have this kind of glad news than Huda TV channel. And I thought that this is the very good opportunity, inshallah ta'ala, for the Muslim world, for every Muslim in this world to have this glad news, inshallah ta'ala, about Al-Quran Kareem in the day of Arafah, and this channel, and this very special moment in our life. So I have that kind of belief that it is good, inshallah ta'ala, to make it today, inshallah azza wa jal, before any other channel in the whole world. So you got this kind, inshallah ta'ala, of priority and this kind of good news, inshallah ta'ala.
Well, thank you for sharing it with us and on our channel.
Ahsanallahu alaykum. Well, this project is like part of my work in this life as any Muslim. Would like to do something to serve the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, serve the Muslim people all around the world, and trying to think about the best way to make that progress to be in the hand of every Muslim, to try to enhance our connection with the Book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, enhance our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I thought about Al-Quran Kareem regarding even my specialty of Islamic law. They said Islamic law does not make any kind of difference without having this good connection with the Book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I started working on that project maybe 5 years, 6 years ago. 6 years ago on this project? Yes, coming back and forth from the United States to Egypt, Cairo, to try to revise and correct. And the people of the Dar es-Salam, Jazakumullah Khair, in Cairo here, they did a great job in bringing that project to our life, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen.
And Doctor, I don't want to interrupt you, but I would like to tell the viewers that the cover of the Mus'haf now is on the screen. So as you speak about it, they can see it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Continue.
MashaAllah. Yes. So I thought that instead of having some kind of Mus'haf, they put some colors in where the Tajweed rules are, and try to make symbolic maybe numbers. Just make it very clear for everyone who like to recite Al-Quran Kareem.
Okay.
So put in above every position they have Tajweed rules, the rule itself written in Arabic word like Med or Idgham or Ikhfa or Iqlab, Qalqala, Hams. All these Tajweed rules to be written very clearly above the position where they have the Tajweed rule. So the reciter will have it very simple, very easy, inshallah ta'ala, very clear to him when he is reciting Al-Quran Kareem. If he has a little background about the Tajweed rules, to notice that this is the Idgham, this Ikhfa, this Iqlab. So he's able to recite Al-Quran Kareem according to the Tartil, Tajweed, as Allah ta'ala commanded us, وَرَتِّلِ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا. So this is the whole idea. And this is the first time we find the Mus'haf.
And they can see it on the screen now. Doctor, as you said, this is the first time you will see a mushaf. Continue.
Yes. You see a mushaf where the tajweed rules are written on inside the mushaf itself.
Yeah, subhanAllah.
Yeah.
And as they can see, you have color-coded it with blue.
Yes.
And so the letter that is affected by the tajweed rule, it says the rule above, like med.
Exactly.
And then it's in blue, and then the letter's in blue.
Yes, exactly.
But now if you purchase a mushaf, and the ones that I've seen, they will have like a chart in the beginning, and like a
instruction maybe.
Instructions, and a picture of a person's face even. And it'll say the rule, and it shows like a graph. So in your opinion, this is too complicated for the people, right?
Well, I mean, for the ordinary people, they don't have time to go for the reciters and put some effort to learn about the tajweed.
Okay.
This is just like a step.
Yes.
Toward that, high level of recitation.
Yeah.
In my project, I did say that it is a very recommended advice for everyone to not just take this project as the final step. It's like introduction for the tajweed rules.
MashaAllah. It's like a bridge for the layperson.
Yes. Yes.
Who wants to read Quran, but he's not educated in tajweed.
Yes.
It's a bridge to the more sophisticated levels. Yeah, that's very good.
Yeah, I want to connect the reciter, anyone to recite Quran Kareem with the big reciters in the Muslim world, to go to the shaykh, to go to the reciter and sit with them and recite Al-Quran Kareem. But you have to have some kind of other maybe meaning, other maybe method. If he doesn't have this ability to go to them, he's able at least to recite Al-Quran Kareem according to the tajweed rules. Even the maybe minimum tajweed rules and the foundation of that rules, as I explained in the introduction of the Mus'haf at the end of the Mus'haf, inshaAllah ta'ala.
And it's great because they can now go to the Shaykh with some sort of foundation and base before you even see the Shaykh, so the Shaykh can work with you.
Even it's very good, problematic to a student in the schools or college or universities. If they are teaching them the tajweed rules, they could open the Mus'haf, they could follow up the teacher.
Yeah.
When he's like saying that this is like tajweed, this is idgham, this is ikhfa, this is ikhlab, they could find it.
Yeah.
Very clear in the same position they are learning from their ustad, the teacher.
Okay.
So for many people, they are learning, they are teaching, they don't have the method of learning from others. It's very, very useful, inshaAllah ta'ala. And as I told them, alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, it's been like 6 years, almost 6 years, working on that project to make it very specific and very comprehensive, and to make that service for the Muslim world, inshaAllah ta'ala. And was very happy, inshallah, to have it to be announced in this day, inshallah.
6 years of hard work. And so did you have a team working with you as well?
Yes, at Dar es Salaam, the publisher in Cairo.
Okay.
Working very hard, mashallah ta'ala.
Okay. Wonderful.
We're just coming every time to just revise what they are doing, correcting, and make some recommendation. But alhamdulillah, at the end, we made it by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
So now the project is finished, and it's available. The project has been completed. You finished the Mus'haf. You have it here in your hand.
Yes.
And it's available in bookstores now.
Yes.
Okay.
They could just contact Dar es Salaam and they could have it right away, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay.
Now they could go to the Facebook of Dar es Salaam.
Okay,
the
great.
announcement that project is there, inshallah ta'ala.
Facebook.com.
Dar es Salaam, Facebook.
Oh, great. Wonderful. Okay, that's really nice. We had spoke briefly before the live, which is kind of a sincere question that I had. The recitation of Hafs, which you have here, you use Hafs obviously to make this tajweed, to apply this tajweed methodology. What about the other recitations of the Quran?
Yeah, we are working on that too, inshallah. I'm going to have another version of that Mus'haf, inshallah, with all different recitation like Qalun and Warsh and Nafi' and Hamza even, to make it available for the whole Muslim world, inshallah.
Now, if you perhaps do you apply the same tajweed rules to all the recitations, or is it completely different?
Well, they have many differences.
Okay.
Yeah, so that we are considering that, inshallah, to have many version of that Mus'haf al-Tajweed, al-Wadih al-Tajweed in different narration. Like this is in the narration of Hafs and Asim.
Okay.
We'll have another one, inshallah, with Qalun and Nafi', another one with Warsh and Nafi', to make it available, inshallah ta'ala. Bi-iznillah ta'ala. Inshallah.
And wonderful. And briefly, if you could hold the Mus'haf open so we can get if you can hold it up for the camera there, this way. So
this way?
Yeah, so the camera here can see. Perfect, yeah, just like that.
Just like Al-Hajj Ashurun Ma'lumatum, mathalan.
If you can keep it up there so that give those guys a second to stay on there so they can see the nice quality of the book itself. It's a nice hard copy with those nice pages and this blue color code. There it is. If you can just keep holding it there, Doctor, I certainly appreciate it. It's wonderful. May Allah bless you with it. As you said, perhaps, inshallah, it will be a bridge for many people to begin better tajweed.
Inshallah ta'ala.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Doctor, back to our discussion about the recitations of the Quran.
Yes.
You had quoted perhaps 85% of the Muslim world reads from Hafs, so I guess maybe it wouldn't be even necessary to make this in the other recitations. But at the same time, I kind of feel as a layperson, you feel like the other recitations have kind of been neglected or abandoned, perhaps? Why is that? Why is the Qulun in the Warsh and the other recitations have become less popular and the Hafs has become very well known?
Yeah, because the spreading of the Hafs was more widely than other narrations, because the effort of some scholars, they are adopting this narration.
Okay.
So they have that kind of effort to go all around the world and spread the narration of Hafs at the expense of the other narration.
Okay.
So like you said, like in Libya and in Morocco, like they recite in Warsh.
Yeah,
Libya, Qalun, and Nafi'. They go to Sudan, they have the same thing sometimes. So this is because of the different kind of effort of the scholars and different kind of adoption from the scholars. But we'd like to spread all this narration, inshallah, as if that we are reviving, inshallah, all this narration.
Yes.
Inshallah.
And in your country, Syria, and may Allah help them, it's Hafs.
Yes.
And I noticed something amazing, Doctor. In your Musaf here in the Hafs that you have applied the Tajweed rules to, the numbers are in Arabic. I purchased a Qalun on Nafia, and its numbers are in English, which is actually the Arabic original numbers.
Yes.
But this, in the Hafs Musaf, it's in Indian numbers, which has now become Arabic numbers. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, I hope that we could be able to put it in the original numbers.
Which are the ones that...
Yes, the English number.
SubhanAllah. So these are the original Arabic numbers.
Yeah, in Morocco they do it the same way.
Yes.
Right. Maybe inshallah we'll study that in the next version, inshallah.
Really?
Next edition, inshallah ta'ala. But because this is the most popular numbers for the Muslim world, the Arab world especially.
Yes.
So put it this way just to be like not confusing others.
Yes. But that had crossed your mind before when you were putting together this Musaf, that had crossed your mind, the numbers?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I certainly hope to see that too, because as an American, when I see the Musaf, the Arabic one, with the Arabic numbering, I can never, it's difficult for me. I have to think about it. So when I saw the Qalun, I bought it also because of the numbering. It's easier for me that way.
Inshallah, we'll have the next edition this way, inshallah.
But Doctor, after 6 years of hard work, if you were to apply this method to one of the other recitations, would it take another 6 years? Or now that you've
it will be, inshallah, much easier, inshallah. Because we put the foundation.
Yeah, right, okay.
We put the foundation.
Now, Dar Salam is based here in Cairo.
Yes.
And they're located all around the world?
They have distributors all around the world.
Okay, okay. Because I have seen them here in Cairo and...
they have Dar Salam in Riyadh, it's different.
Oh, okay.
This is Dar Salam in Cairo.
Okay.
It's a different publisher.
Okay, wonderful. Yes. Now, Doctor, before you embarked on this project, you've written many other books, and in fact, we have them upstairs in the office. But these books are related to Islamic law.
Yes.
Can you speak a little bit about those projects as well?
Well, subhanAllah, I don't like to talk about myself that much,
I'm sorry.
In this program. I appreciate your question. It's the day of Arafah. But very quickly, inshallah ta'ala, all my mission in this life to revive Islam with others, inshallah ta'ala. I believe that every Muslim, you and I, inshallah ta'ala, to be participating in that noble project, reviving Islam, renewing our deen, inshallah ta'ala. Every one of us in his specialty, in his profession. We need the doctor, we need the physician, we need the teacher, we need the professor, we need even the butcher, we need the farmer, everyone, husband, wife, old and young. All of us, we have to share, in this project by bringing back the understanding of the Sahaba to our life and bring some of their noble work. This is the definition of tajdeed, as he said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. يبعث الله هذه أمتي على رأس كل 100 سنة من جد لها أمر دينها. Allah subhanahu will bring someone each 100 years to revive the deen of this ummah. Long time ago they believed that this tajdeed should be like individually.
Yes, I still hear people say that.
Right, but now we should believe that it is now the work of the whole ummah.
Yeah.
We don't refer it to someone.
One single person.
One single person, one single maybe group or maybe parties. The whole ummah has to participate in that project, so we refer to the whole ummah, inshallah ta'ala.
Okay.
Because every one of us does have a role in this life to do, inshallah ta'ala. And if all of us share in that project, we'll be able to bring back our Islam again. Especially in this time, we have many tragedies, we have many problems, we have many misunderstandings about Islam. So we need to do that. Al-Hajj by itself, we need to bring back the understanding of the Hajj. The day of Arafah itself. I was talking to myself today about the day of Arafah. What is special with the day of Arafah, and how to make the connection between the day of Arafah and our situation as a Muslim world, as the Muslim Ummah, suffering and struggling, being united, being divided,
yes.
being under many kind of pressure from different directions. And this kind of misunderstanding, this kind of maybe falsehood taken over the truthful in our life. The day of Arafah by itself, as if that is announcement. If I announce today about this mushaf, because this is the glad news for the whole Muslim world, this is the work of Allah, it's not our work. Allah. We are just the tools. But Allah wants us to work for His deen, subhanahu wa ta'ala. The day of Arafah, when you are sitting, standing, and shouting, Labbaik Allahumma Labbaik, making dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in one place with the whole Muslim Ummah, not just the people in Arafah. Imagine that every Muslim now just looking for the people of Arafah, inshallah ta'ala, sharing with them with their dua. It's like a symbolic meaning of unity, Muslim Ummah, right? But at the same time, people are standing in Arafah because they have a need. They have some kind of need of expressing their feelings, their maybe hopes, their goals in the future. So they don't have better than turning themselves to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, raising their hand and asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Arafah is telling us, teaching us how to announce our need, how to declare maybe our goal, our hopes inside our heart by our tongue. We don't fear nobody, we fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only. Arafah is like the teaching, the lesson of dignity, lesson of unity, lesson of being very steady person in your life. You don't manipulate, you don't change your principles or maybe your values. All this you can make from day of Arafah. Why the shaitan, as you know from the hadith Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to be seen at the maybe the worst situation, the worst position, the worst condition. Shaitan la yura asghar wa la ahqar. But in this day, to be very humiliated, the shaitan. Because this is the case of the shaitan in this life. He would like to make every one of us to be his follower by using our desire, using our
weakness.
Yes, our weakness, our soul, how to serve our own maybe benefit at the expense of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commandment, and to bring our maybe arrogance at the expense of to be humble to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His orders subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the shaitan would be losing his case in the day of Arafah. So that way you see in the shaitan, as the Prophet mentioned, is very humiliated and very small and very defeated creature of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we can translate that meaning in our practical life, inshallah ta'ala, defeat a shaitan and to make it as Allah commanded us azza wa jal in our practical life. Just we submit to Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, we refer to Him azza wa jal, we fear no one but Him subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we come together and we follow one leadership. They call it Imam al-Hajj, leadership, one leadership. Muslim Ummah united behind one leadership. That's what the Muslim Ummah need. As Allah says subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. This kind of i'tisam, that means we are getting together, inshallah ta'ala, stay together at the robe of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That we need to do, inshallah, in our life to bring back our dignity, our Islamic role, inshallah ta'ala.
Thank you, Dr. Muhammad. And the Muslim world for the last year has been in perhaps the most terrible condition, that it has been in a long time. Your country has been in war now, a civil war for 3 years. Even Egypt, subhanAllah, make dua for us, the last 3.5 months have been chaotic and dangerous. And we see the situation in the Muslim world, it doesn't seem to be going well at all. So how can the Muslim now, maybe you can please give us some more advice and remind us that on this day that do not despair in the mercy of Allah? Because the times in the Muslim world seem to be in a very difficult position, Doctor. So
what can we say in this situation? Every time, every minute that pass, we have the wound getting worse and worse. We are very sad to see Muslim people are in this situation, in this position, in this condition. And I could refer the whole reason of these tragedies to one thing. And that thing could maybe take us to many other reasons. What is our authority in our life? If every country, every nation, every people, they have their authority, they refer back to it as a source, as a manual book of their life, so that they have this kind of reference, this kind of source, if they need anything, any solution. So what is our authority in our life today? We have different authorities, we have different maybe background, we have different understanding, different ideas, different belief, different thought. We are not united. So we need to bring back our original authority, the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And no one just to claim that he has it, he has the understanding only, and beside others that he is the best one to understand. Would like to bring back not my understanding, not his understanding, the Sahaba understanding. They are the best people to understand what the meaning of the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the meaning of the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So wherever the Sahaba they got agreed on something, we have to follow it. Okay. They have differences in that issue. We say that it's okay for us inshallah to have the same differences here. Okay. As if that they have like two circle of al-ijma', what they call it al-usul, the fundamental issues in Islam. The Sahaba, all of them, they agreed on it. How they understood the Quran, the Sunnah. We cannot just go behind it, we cannot just go over it. We have to adopt them all, inshallah ta'ala. This they call it al-usul. Okay. Usul Islam, the fundamental issues in Islam regarding the Sharia, regarding the i'tiqad, our belief. And the other issues, they call it furu'a, the branches. Whatever they have differences, the Sahaba, we could say that it is okay for us to have the same differences among ourselves, if that will come from Muslim scholars, inshallah ta'ala. After we got the understanding of every aspect of life in our life, we start to follow. We try to activate our understanding. We have maybe sometimes misunderstanding, or maybe sometimes a lack of work, or sometimes the lack of understanding and work. There's no benefit of someone that he understood, but he does not work. Or someone who is working very hard, but he does not understand exactly what is supposed to be. So we need to make that combination of very comprehensive, authentic understanding of the book of Allah and the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then follow up with that very authentic work to practice, to activate what we understood from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes.
I have a following question regarding Arafah Day, and then I would like to ask you a few questions about Eid. But as far as Arafah Day, as we see behind you, we have the Kaaba here and the people making tawaf, and they can see on the screen the people asking for forgiveness on Arafah. So the message of unity and brotherhood and unity is really strong and obvious for anybody to see, even non-Muslims sitting around the world, perhaps watching Hajj coverage on CNN or other news networks. But why is it, I feel like this message has been lost amongst Muslims, because now we couldn't be more divided, whereas we have people saying, they identify themselves as perhaps Palestinians first, or Syrians first, or Egyptians first. So in spite of Allah revealing this beautiful religion to us that shows unity, as Muslims now we are dividing amongst ourselves more and more, and this has become a catastrophe. Perhaps you can speak about that and remind the viewers that the Quran and the Sunnah and unity is the way forward.
Well, subhanAllah, Brother Malik, as maybe you notice in our time, we know maybe a lot, but we don't practice. And we claim something, we don't prove it. The Sahaba, they took very little. Their knowledge very little according to the books we have right now, libraries, everywhere. But their work was more than what they know. They used to not go from these 10 verses to the next 10 verses before they practiced the 10 verses.
Okay.
So their principle was understanding and practicing. Understanding, practicing. We understand, we don't practice. In many cases we don't understand even. So we don't transfer the meaning of the Hajj. The Hajj, why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made the Hajj for us? As maybe I said in different occasions, as we said in the different program, if you can categorize the Muslim Islamic law rules or the Islamic law rules into maybe categories, the section of ibadat, the section of mu'amalat, like siyam, hajj, and prayer and all of these.
Personal worship.
Yes.
And action or work.
Right, like how to sell, how to buy, how to get married, how to divorce, all of these issues. I said before that all the first section, including the hajj and the siyam, is to serve the second section.
SubhanAllah.
So the hajj by itself, even its ibadah, this ibadah is being employed to serve the purpose of the second section, to make you a more successful person in your life.
And community.
Yes, and community, as a teacher, as a husband, as wife, as maybe daughter, as a son, as professor, as maybe innovator, anything in your life, you take from the hajj and practice it in your life. So you could see that person is a hajji.
Yes.
Without even going to Mecca al-Mukarramah, without going around the Kaaba, without from the sun in the Arafah, because he's adopting the meaning of the hajj in his own life.
And Doctor, I want to take this phone call, but then I want to come back to you and I want you to talk more about this, applying the meaning of hajj in our life. We have a phone call from Sister Asiya from the KSA. Assalamu alaikum, sister, how are you? I apologize for keeping you on hold. I'm sorry, we kept you on hold too long, Sister Asiya. I do have your question. Dr. Muhammad, Sister Asiya is a frequent caller to Ask Huda, as well as all of our programs. She had a question regarding the day of Arafah, and in certain countries, unfortunately, because of discrepancies with the lunar calendar or political reasons, the day of Arafah falls on another day. I'm sure you know more about this than me for sure, but I have heard that as well. Sometimes in certain countries in Southeast Asia and South Asia, Arafah Day will be a day later than what the whole world celebrated Arafah Day on. So perhaps you can advise somebody in India or Pakistan or Bangladesh where this commonly happens, what should they do?
Yeah, I did write about this issue in my book Al-Jami' fi Al-Qawa'id wa Dawab Al-Fiqhiyya, about the issue of like have some difference about which day we should start Dhul Hijjah. So in some other countries they have some difference about this issue. But I said in that book, we have two different issues. The issue of Siyam Ramadan, when to start Ramadan fasting, yes, and when to start Dhul Hijjah, when to stand on Arafah.
Yes.
So the issue of Ramadan, maybe some countries they have their freedom to start Ramadan according to the sighting of the moon. So maybe they sight the moon in different time than others.
Right.
And they were commanded to start the Siyam according to their citation.
Okay.
But for the Hajj is the issue of the people of Mecca, the people of the place where the Hajj to be observed there. So everyone in this Muslim has to follow these people. Does not have to have any room for his own opinion, his own maybe sighting for the moon of the Hijjah. Okay. The people of the Mecca al-Mukarramah, the people of the Mina, people of the Hajj, they sight the moon, and certain day we should follow them, inshallah. Okay. Because Hajj, as a ibadah, it is connected to the place and the time.
Right.
Ramadan is only the time, not the place. You could fast Ramadan anywhere in this world, right?
Yes.
But you cannot make Hajj everywhere,
yes,
in anywhere this place. In this world, you have to make the Hajj in certain places. That's why Hajj is related to the place and the time, so we have to follow the people of the place, inshallah.
Thank you for clarifying that. It makes it very, very simple and understandable the way you said that.
Inshallah.
Doctor, about the lessons of Hajj, you know, as before accepting Islam and even the first few years of being Muslim, I couldn't understand the purpose of, you know, why would God command the Prophet Abraham to go to Mecca to slaughter his son? And it didn't really occur to me till this Hajj, really, until I became a father of two boys. And I spoke with many of our respected Shaykh here, and they talked to me a lot about the issue of obedience, sacrifice, and test. It's a test from Allah. But perhaps you can share a little bit about that with our viewers who may think it's a strange thing, you know. They know that Hajj is our holiday, but they don't know why they practice it. They don't know why we perform these rituals. They don't understand why would God ask the Prophet Abraham to slaughter his son. Why would his wife accept to be moved to the desert? All these things. Perhaps you can shed some light on the story of Hajj briefly.
SubhanAllah, the whole story of Hajj is concluded by saying it is a story of struggling and sacrificing and proving that you are really the worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if someone claims that he's a Muslim, he's a worshipper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without proving that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to prove that we are his worshipper through some difficulties, some hardship in this life. And who's the best than the Prophet, messengers? they are the best example for us, the role model for us. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put the heavy load in their shoulders to be easier for us later on. And I don't think that anyone in this world can claim that he has more difficulties than the prophets or messengers. Start of Abraham or Sayyidina Moses or Jesus or Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Then I said in different occasions that the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam, not a single maybe tragedies or maybe difficult hardship, but he did go through it, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. To be the role model and our example, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, to make it easier for us, to be like a relief for us. If any one of us sometimes complain about his life, that he's struggling a little bit, he has some difficulties, some hardship, why he is being under that circumstances, he could find maybe we call it the comfort, the relief from just reading about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, knowing that he was suffering more than us, struggling more than us sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The same thing Abraham, Sayyidina Ibrahim and his wife, Sayyidina Ismail, Sayyidina Ishaq, they did go all these difficulties and hardship just to be the example for every one of us coming maybe later on. And symbolic meanings, to slaughter his son. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't want anyone to slaughter his son. It's just a symbolic meaning that he is showing his obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at highest level. And he does not hesitate to make anything for the purpose of pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. While we are here in our life, we make some hesitation, maybe sometimes big hesitation. If we have two choices, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or to please ourselves. To please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, maybe please maybe our wives or children, maybe please Allah or please maybe others. So when we have two choices, many of us, they try to maybe make some kind of excuses why he did choose the matter of dunya at the expense of the matter of akhirah, to please someone else rather than to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the meaning of Hajj comes all together, inshallah ta'ala, to try to remind us about this great meaning that we have to be at the stage, at the task Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is putting us subhanahu wa ta'ala. We cannot just keep claiming that we are Muslims, we are worshippers, we are believers, without having some kind of maybe very distinguished proof and evidence that we mean what we say. And as you know that Hajj, a long time ago people they make Hajj one time because it was very hard for them.
Yes, of course.
But that one time was more than enough for them to go for the rest of their life. The same way the Prophet, he did make Hajj one time, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Okay.
To be just the meaning that you don't need 2 Hajj or 3 or 4 Hajj. Just make it one time, according to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want you to do it, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and go to the depth of the meaning of the Hajj, transfer that deep meaning into your life. The Hajj will be enough for you one time.
Okay.
But we can see these days people they make Hajj every year, mashallah ta'ala, without having any kind of effect on their life.
Okay. Definitely would like to avoid that, the part regarding the effect. It's also worth noting, Doctor, that Prophet Abraham, peace be upon him, he was a very old man, and his son came to him when he was perhaps 70 years old. Is that correct? So he had been waiting his whole life for this son, and so of course his son was very beloved to him. So perhaps this is also why Allah wants to test him with the most precious thing in his life, and see if he's willing to give it up for the sake of Allah.
When Allah said, لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مَا تُحِبُّونَ, that you cannot get the level of the good work in this life, showing that you are pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but to spend from the best. Now this is spending like money here. تُنْفِقُوا مَا تُحِبُّونَ, to spend the best what you have. But you don't have just money, you have everything in this life. You have yourself, you have your money, you have your health, you have your position, you have your reputation. Anything you have in this life, you have to put it in the stage of that I'm going to make it, inshallah ta'ala, at the service of Allah, the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless. Well, keep it or lose it, it does not matter. Like the Sahaba radha anhum, when they just give everything away for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In these days, sometimes we are very, I could call it, not just miserable people in a case of showing our honesty, our sincerity, but sometimes like it's stingy people in spending from what we have in this life. We'd like just to spend something from our health, our time, our maybe reputation, our position. Very little does not affect our maybe desire, does not affect our maybe life. But the Sahaba did not do it this way. They put everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala compensate them, subhanahu wa ta'ala. The compensation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was so huge for the Sahaba. They gave everything away for the sake of Allah. Allah gave him everything, subhanahu wa ta'ala, the whole dunya, east and the west. Look at ourselves right now. We cannot even feel safe in our place. Look at the Syria situation. Look at the Iraq situation. Look at the Libya situation, Egypt situation. People, they cannot just walk sometimes in some area safely. Why all of this? It's a reminder from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You did not do it right. You did not show that you are honest claimer, that you claim that you are Muslim, you are a worshiper of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you have to be honest, you have to be sincere. Allah knows subhanahu wa ta'ala. Yes.
Thank you, Doctor. And it's really interesting that you mentioned that, because we have callers now calling in to ask Huda, to ask Dr. Salah, is it permissible to leave a Muslim country to travel to Europe and America out of fear? And this is something very sad because of the instability here.
Yes.
Doctor, now that I have you here, I wanted to ask you something that's a personal interest to me. Coming from the United States and having a Western Christian background, growing up, we always understood and we were always taught that the Prophet Abraham had one wife and he had one son, and that wife's name was Sarah and the son was named Isaac. Now in the Bible you will find it says Abraham was going to sacrifice his only son, and now we learn that Ismail is 12 years older than Isaac, so only son should be Ismail. So now we come to find that there is some sort of competition or something between people of a Judeo-Christian background and Muslims, because the people of the Judeo-Christian background, they claim that Isaac is the only son or the oldest son, or if you get them to admit that Ismail, peace be upon him, is the first and oldest son, then they'll tell you, okay, fine, but the revelation only comes through Isaac. And this is how they try to refute Islam and Muslims' the belief of Muslims. So can you speak a little bit about that and clarify that Ismail is the first and the oldest legitimate son of the Prophet Abraham?
Well, we should not focus that much, in the name of the sons being under that test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The symbolic meaning here, whether that was Ishaq or Ismail, what is the whole purpose here? Some people sometimes they waste their time in names, in titles, some details. It did not meant to be this way. Allah wants us to learn about the story that we are sacrificing a huge value in our life. What is the most beloved thing to your life? Your son, regardless of his name, his age.
Yes,
right?
Yeah.
So let us take that meaning, inshallah, and adopt it and practice it and transmit our life to say that yes, we are ready, inshallah, to sacrifice, give away, inshallah, anything we have in this life for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regarding the name of that things we are doing to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Thank you for clarifying that, because that is an excellent point, Doctor. What difference would it make to Muslims if the child was Isaac or Ismail or anyone? The point was the meaning of the story.
Yes.
So thank you for clarifying that.
Yes.
In this day and age in the Western world, we hear people talk about women's rights and feminism and all this sort of thing. But we do see, and we see many names and historical female figures being mentioned, but we don't hear the name Hajar being mentioned, because she was steadfast in her faith in Allah, and she was also tested, wasn't she, Doctor?
Yes.
And she ran between Safa and Marwa with a baby, breastfeeding with nothing, and she really had people, we always say tawakkal Allah, she really did this, and Allah provided water for her. So can you speak a little bit about Hajar and her role in this?
SubhanAllah, Hajar is very special, name in our Muslim history, in our Muslim memory. Our mother, our great lady, the wife of Sayyidina Ibrahim, how this lady just, wallahi, I wish that every Muslim woman in this world just to take that part of the story. SubhanAllah, my skin now is to adopt and to learn from Hajar, to be a real wife, to be a real lady, to be a real woman, because the name of woman is a very noble thing in life. To be a real woman, a real lady, real wife, ready to accept to be part of the whole project of serving the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, regardless, without no conditions. In our days, women and ladies and wives, they have a lot of conditions in their life to be considered as a real wife or ladies. Let us take Sayyidah Hajar, how she did accept to be going through all these difficulties and hardship, because she was feeling that being noble, very noble lady, to be part of that project, to be part of that family, very noble family, very blessed family, to be the wife of Sayyidina Ibrahim, to be left alone by herself with her little baby. There's no means, no method, there's no sources of life to survive, but to rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His promise subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to believe in Sayyidina Ibrahim that he did leave them at the hand of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In our days, you hear the commercials, State Farm. Are you at the safe hand? Right?
Yeah.
So this is like materialistic, understanding in our life. But it did go through our life as a Muslims. We did, many cases we are relying not on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in our own maybe abilities, capabilities, our own sources. If we don't have these sources, we have very bad situation. We have some kind of maybe doubt about our belief, our faith. That affect us. But let us take Sayyidah Hajar as the example, how she was believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how she trusts Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because she was part of that project of being worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and a part of the family of Sayyidina Ibrahim, because Sayyidina Ibrahim was establishing, was putting the foundation of the whole real deen and real Islam to come later on, and to go around the Kaaba, millions and millions of people all around the history remember from all these stories and all these maybe very, at that time, very little in numbers people. Sayyidina Ibrahim, Sayyidina Ismail, Sayyidina Ishaq, Sayyidina Hajar, very small families, not a big family. But this family did make the difference, did make the whole issue in the whole Muslim history.
Thank you, Doctor. And if we can remember when we go through Safa and Marwa, now we have the air conditioning and the green light that indicates you should run, and the ceramic floor, and it's really convenient. If we could remember the original story, this would, I think, bring a deeper meaning to our Hajj.
Yes, exactly.
But this is also from the ni'mat of Allah, isn't it? Because Allah has, now we do perform Hajj in a very easy way and convenient way with buses and airplanes and air conditioners, whereas the people of the past have made Hajj. They set out from Bosnia 9 months before Hajj, and they spent their entire wealth, and sometimes they didn't reach, and the roads weren't always safe. But now Allah has really made this is another blessing of Allah, isn't it? That the fact that we make Hajj in such a clean and convenient way.
Alhamdulillah. SubhanAllah is a very beautiful meaning here. Sometimes the hardship during practicing ibadah, it's meant to be this way. Like when you are woke up in the morning to pray Fajr, it's not easy, especially in the cold maybe weather. You have to struggle, you have to suffer, you have to fight your desire. But at the same time, after you finish all of this process and you stand at the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you feel the joy of you are spending all this time and making all this progress at the expense of your maybe your joy, your own maybe comfortable maybe bed and room. For the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the joy of ibadah itself is greater than the joy of your own desire. But now, if suppose that sometimes you don't have all this the hardship and difficulties, like the same way we talk about the Hajj and Safa and Marwa, what that should take us to concentrate more and more about the meaning of the ibadah itself. Because sometimes we are tired, you have some kind of difficulties in having the ibadah itself. Sometimes that hardship might take you away a little bit from focusing and concentrating on your ibadah. Like sometimes people coming from like long distance just to get the Jama'ah prayer, and he arrived to the masjid and just he's barely is able to breathe maybe. So he's like not concentrating enough because he was so tired and so exhausted. But suppose that someone bring him by his very fancy van or car with air condition, and just he drop him at the door of the masjid. Was very comfortable, alhamdulillah, very
easy for him.
Easy for him. That should take him away from getting busy with all this method that means, and take him to the spot of the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to concentrate more and more, inshallah ta'ala, with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yes.
Also, perhaps we can share with non-Muslim people, this is like can we say a proof for the miracle of Islam, because it was Prophet Abraham, his wife and son, there were 3 people. And then after all of this, Allah commanded him to proclaim the Hajj. And now we see that every year so many people are coming there, millions and millions and millions and millions of people from from China, from America.
Yes.
So isn't this a miracle in itself, as they see on the screen, the footage of Jabhat al-Rahmah there? Isn't this a miracle and a proof of Islam in itself, that Allah commanded Abraham to, peace be upon him, to proclaim the Hajj, and then we see to this day?
Subhanallah.
Isn't it amazing?
Yes, yes. And one of the lessons of this, subhanallah, Brother Malik, that you should make the work. You don't look forward for the result. You don't try to make yourself rely on seeing some of this result of your work. And you don't say that if I don't see a result, I don't work. Sayyidina Ibrahim, he made that as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded him subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَأَذِّن فِي النَّاسِ بِالْحَجِّ يَأْتُوكَ رِجَالًا وَعَلَى كُلِّ ضَامٍ. He did not see that, Sayyidina Ibrahim, but he did make the work. So this is lesson for us. Let us do the work, inshallah ta'ala. That work might take maybe 10 years, 20 years, maybe 50 years, maybe 100 years. One of the Muslim Ummah problem that they want to see they rush to the result. They want to see a right now result. We don't leave that place till we get something like this.
Right,
you should wait. You should organize yourself and make a plan and rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do your work perfectly, inshallah ta'ala. Control Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded you, the book, the sunnah, inshallah ta'ala. And then leave it up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You might not be able to see the result of your work. Maybe your son, maybe your grandson, maybe some other people. Why not? But this is what Allah will ask you on the day of judgment. وَقُلْ اعْمَلُوا فَسَيَرَ اللَّهُ عَمَلَكُمْ وَرَسُولُهُ وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ. Yes.
Doctor, it was recently brought to my attention that we often hear people say, Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakeel, and we hear people say it often. But it recently came to my attention, one of our respected scholars said, this is the dua of Ibrahim.
Yes.
Isn't it? Perhaps can you speak about that and the reliance on Allah?
SubhanAllah, many phrases in our Muslim life has been changed. Instead of being like a big field of worshipping Allah, trusting Allah, believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and enhance our effort, enhance our iman, our faith, turn to be like just a word.
Yeah.
Like when you say like La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, reflect that we are disabled, the disability.
Yes.
We cannot do anything, so La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel, the same thing.
Yes.
We cannot do anything, Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel. Allahu Akbar, in our adhan, our prayer, does not mean anything in our life. So this word, Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel, that means someone is working, someone is giving the evidence that he is a real believer and he relies on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give him the help. Allah will assist him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah will help him subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will support him while he's doing his work and relying on him subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel is the announcement only. Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakeel is not the work.
Right.
It's the announcement of the work.
Yes, because quite often, as you said, that's a wonderful point. We say, and oftentimes we hear people say, this is the qadr of Allah, meaning that they won't take any action. But it's important as a Muslim, and we learn this from the story of Hajj, to follow Allah and be obedient to Him, to take action.
Yes.
And then you can announce that with the dua that you mentioned.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Because unfortunately, we are suffering a bit from the reverse, subhanAllah, these days. Doctor, I certainly appreciate your time. I think we've had a wonderful day. But before I let you go, I would like you to really, perhaps we can give a message to the viewers about this day of Arafah, what we can draw from it, remind the viewers to be unified on the Quran and the Sunnah, and that we are one nation. I think this can we say this is the main message of Arafah Day?
Yes. I hope inshallah ta'ala, the day of Arafah will teach us inshallah ta'ala how to be united again, how to understand our Islam correctly inshallah ta'ala, how to follow the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because the day of Arafah is maybe the conclusion of وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Unity, following His commandments subhanahu wa ta'ala, understanding His word and His Sharia, and applying all this in our life inshallah ta'ala, having one leadership inshallah ta'ala, one day bi'idhnillah ta'ala, and work toward that goal. We should just finish our divisions, our different authorities, different titles. The shaitan always want to refer the things to himself. I want every one of us to do it the same way. That this is my work, this is my book, this is my project. No, we are nothing. We are just the reflection of His mercy. If we have something good in our life, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reflects His mercy on us subhanahu wa ta'ala to be able to do something good. So we refer everything to Him, subhanahu wa ta'ala. We work hard, inshallah ta'ala, to get Muslim united. We bring back our Sahaba, understanding to this life, inshallah ta'ala. We try to bring back their work, their noble work, even most of it, some of it, inshallah ta'ala. We revive this deen, we renew our Islam, inshallah ta'ala. And we try to be, inshallah ta'ala, very hopeful people. We don't give up. We don't get desperate. We believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And every time we see people are just going down, that means we are about just to go up, inshallah ta'ala. Inshallah ta'ala.
Dr. Muhammad Naim Sai, thank you for your time. I hope to see you on your next trip to Egypt, inshallah.
Inshallah ta'ala.
And you guys at home, stay tuned for Huda TV's continued and extended coverage of Arafah Day, inshallah ta'ala. We're going to be live all day. In the next segment, we will have some special guests from all around the world, so you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.